Hello everybody, this is Daybreak, bring you my Cadena. So today's topic we're gonna do on myself, on my choice of gears to hit floor 70, of course with even buff. So yeah, because it sounds like it's really, yeah, how do you hit floor 70 without any dark boss set? Okay. So first of all, I'm going to share with you my WSE. The first one would be Genesis Chain. Yeah, I would say that RNG was on my side. I spent probably less than one ACS Legend Armor. Yeah, that's how RNG was on my side, and this was doing off DMT session to be able to get very nice flames without, I would say, less than 100 rainbow and black flames. Yep. Legend and unique, yeah, very not that many cube as compared to others, and it's doing off the empty season as well. Yep. Next would be my secondary. Alright, because I'm playing a very, not say a very popular class, I have to do most of the things myself, especially for WNS. As for secondary, I didn't spend I spent I think quite a bit. Uh, Perhaps it's even better to buy from someone else and then you make the transfer when there's a secondary exchange event. For example, like Night Troop or during COVID, there's an event that allows you to transfer secondary to another. Yeah, that would be more helpful than trying to buy one yourself because the market for this item might be too weak. Alright, so do consider that. And Emblem, you got no choice. Most of it will be untradeable unless you decided to go for Seren's Emblem. Yep. Okay, so I use E cube to get 2 lines IND, which is really a lot for Cadena. But of course, who knows that in later bossing you need much more IND, so I just keep that 2 prime lines of IND. Yeah, what most people want in their second WSC is at least all 3 useful main port lines, which is easily accessible through Hexa. And for ad port, you want to have at least 21% attack. That's the main goal for most late game players. 3 lines is, if you're lucky, you get it like this, but sadly it's not legendary. Alright, so apart from my WSE, my mindset for most of my gears would be as long as it's tradables, there is resale value. And to me, resale value is very important. Otherwise, I wouldn't invest that much. That explains to me why my Penombre mark is weak. It's not legend at all. Same goes to my King Ring. Okay, so I'm gonna explain my gears of choice for all my items before, yeah, because I don't have any dark ball set, and it might sound ridiculous to most of you who might think that, oh, I need to hit floor 65, I need to at least have 2 boss gears, 2 dark boss set. No, it's not. Okay, alright, so first of all we are going to talk about the set bonus that I go for. So because I'm carrying Genesis weapon, as you can see, I have 3 sets covered: Arcane Shade, Meister, and the last one is the Root Abyss set. So no choice, the best in slot if you want to for Root Abyss would be yeah, your Fafnir head, Fafnir top, and Fafnir bottom. The next upgrade is Eternal, which will probably be a thing maybe in 3 years time or so. Yep. Okay, so no choice, this has to be your Fafnir set, where even if you decide to go Abso, this is the main set that will benefit from your Genesis weapon. Okay, next set I'm going to talk about is Meister set. Now the reason why I go for Meister set is because this ring I self-make. Yeah, and the stats is really good, and I don't see why that I shouldn't go for Meister set, especially I found a shoulder which is really cheap. which is about 1/3 the cost of my ACS shoulder. So by making that downgrade, I can invest in other items, which I did. My ear stud also looks quite okay. I could get a better ear stud, but the difference won't be that big. So for me, I value the 20% boss set effect as well as well as the 40 wah for the 3 set effect for Meister. With Genesis, it makes it 4. Yeah, I value that 10% boss as much as the amount of flat stats I gain from the 5 set effect from ACS. Yeah, if you're going for Abso, I would suggest strongly that you go for Meister set. If you choose to go for Meister Ear Stud and Meister Signet. The reason is because the cost will not be as yeah, Meister would be more valuable than Abso because the set bonus is not as much as Arcane Shade and you still gain 10% boss damage. So for a small loss for a 10% boss damage, it's definitely much more worth it if you're going for Abso gear. Okay, for my ACS, I wouldn't say it's very fantastic for each item. Okay, but I go for ACS set because I do not know why, but I just want to go for ACS then. Yeah, but even if I change to Abso, I would think that I would just drop by 1 or 2 floors only because for the amount of flat stats that I will be missing. So let's look at ECS. I'm not going to compare the numbers lah. It's going to take quite a lot of time. Yeah. Anyway, others will do has done the math. It's not this. The difference will be a bit noticeable if you're using ACS set as compared to a Abso set. Okay, and after all, if you feel your wallet being pinched by going to ACS set, if you are wearing Abso set and you want to go to ACS sets but you feel the pinch, then probably you shouldn't even go for Dark Boss set in the first place. Okay, currently Abso gear, maybe I would say 10B for a clean one. ACS is 4 times the price. Okay, so just by 4 times the price, you can make an upgrade for each Abso gear to ACS. And of course, you gain quite a lot of flat stats from the set bonuses. And of course, ACS a level 200 item, you gain more base stats from that as compared to Abso. Yep. And the reason why I say that is because from a previous lower tier item to a Dark Boss set probably cost 5 times or even more than the previous tier. So if you're not willing to spend your ACS, which is 4 times as much as Abso gear, then why should you spend on a Dark Boss set, which costs 5 times as much as the previous one? Comparing into 2 stars lah. Okay, so yeah, if you don't want to wear ACS gear, probably don't go for Dark Boss set at all. Alright, that's my argument. Alright, so next let's talk about my rings. Let's start from left to right. Alright, so rings, of course you need to have a sit ring, and as I've shown you, I only have Aura 3 or Aura 4, but it probably gives me a good boost, and I could stay on position because of Ion, which is good to have if you're, especially if you're a Cadena. So sit ring is a must for most classes, for everyone actually. Alright, next we talk about the rings, 3 rings that is important. Okay, Meister Signet is probably the cheapest 22 star ring that you can get, so you should get it no matter what. The next one would be Divine King ring because it's readily available, and that's the next probably the next cheapest 22 star ring that you can get. Yeah, for me I went Kanna because that time there were no other rings available except for Giant Fear, which is at 22 star, and I'm not willing to spend on a Giant Fear because it's too costly. I boomed a total of 3 Kanna rings before I make my 4th Kanna ring 22 star, and overall cost, I would say, is less than a clean giant fear. But at that point of time, the Djunkel's Fury is not up yet. But knowing that the Djunkel Fury is available now, if I were to make the decision, I would have probably gone for the Djunkel Fury as compared to a Kanna's Treasure. And the main reason why is that it has resale value. Okay, at a few months ago, before the update from KMS, most of the Dark Boss on items and Dawn Boss set is not known that it will be tradable. That's why I didn't invest in them. As you can see, it's still unique. But that's probably the next thing that I'm gonna focus on is their pots if I want to continue funding on this character. Right, but anyway, I got this 17 star legend already. I don't know why I want to tier my Kanna treasure. Maybe leftover cubes and I just play with it. Yeah. So yeah. So if you manage to hit 22 star Kanna treasure, I think it's good enough. If you want to go for the Djunkel Fury, it's worth it because even at 21 star, and the Djunkel Fury can be taught from a Meister earring or a Kanna's treasure. So if this ring is not legend, I would have thought over to a Djunkel Fury for that, and it gives me additional 30 wow even at 21 star. Yeah. So if your Kanna's treasure is not 22 star, I would suggest you to go for the Djunkel Fury. Okay, at least you can resell it when you want to make a change from a from a Djunkel Fury to a Giant Fear. Right, we don't talk about exclusive premium items like BOD or whatever. Yeah, because that is just too much. Okay, next let's talk about pendant slots. Okay, as you can see, I have 3 set effect from Bell's Accessory, Papu Mark, Dawn Pendant, and Pink Holy Grail. Alright, yep, Dawn Pendant is probably the cheapest 22 star that is available. Yeah, so get it. Okay, before I use Frontier, I use our Blazing Sun Pendant. It's only at 20 star, and the reason why I'm really unwilling to move on is because Frontier C is really expensive at that point of time, and a Daybreak pendant wasn't tradable then. However, right now, I got this pendant, I would say much cheaper than half the cost of Daybreak with the same pot lines and flames. Okay, a ready-made Frontier C costs less than half a Daybreak with the same pot lines. It is really, I mean, for that boost of damage, let's say even if I go for a Daybreak, I need to spend double of what this pendant, and it doesn't give me double the damage that this Frontier C would give. So based on this ideology, I choose not to go for Daybreak. Anyway, I got 2 set Daybreak already with Penombre. Okay, but before I continue, I'm gonna talk my Holy Grail. Pathetic stats, but it's good enough. I can aim for better, but not worth the meso for now. Okay, alright, let's talk about my Dawn Boss set. I went for Penombre instead of Estella, as I mentioned, because I want to have the Meister effect, so I would prefer to go for Meister. Why Penombre? Because before Penombre was out, the available face, which is so-called the best in slot, would be shiny red Meister, and that's only 20 star, and the flame is horrible, so it's not worth to yeah. And how I say is that a shiny red at level 130 with 20 stars with LU pot lines might even lose to a Penombre 15% main stat because of the flame and the 2 extra stars over there. So a Penombre is definitely much more worth, because to go for LCM after Penombre, LCM costs more than okay, let's say a Penombre currently costs about 20 B meso. LCM would be easily like 6 times the price of it. So if you want to spend 6 times the amount of money on your LCM as compared to Penombre, is it really worth You don't even have double the damage. So no, I choose to go for Penombre. This is more worth it. Yes, everything is whether it's worth the amount to spend. Of course, if you are a min maxer and don't mind the cost, then go ahead for a dark boss set. Okay, next I would talk about my belt. Okay, it's it's very easy to get a 12-star Tyrant belt now. Yeah, can ignore the 14-star because that one is still RNG. You have to throw in high enhancement quality, high quality enhancement scroll inside to get your 13, 14, and 15 stars. Yep. Okay, and a Tyrant belt will be much better than a Zakum belt because of the base stats, 50 stats and 25 war as compared to a Zakum belt. Let's see, a clean stat is only 18 stats and 1 war. Okay, so even though Zakum belt might be tradable soon, it's still better to go for a Tyrant belt unless you're going for a 4-star or 5 set effect, 4 set or 5 set effect. Yeah, but it's still not worth as compared to a Tyrant belt. Yep. Okay, and even though Lucid, I could like probably top up a bit from this Tyrant belt to a Lucid belt, but is it really worth the price? Because 22 Lucid belt is less worth than maybe the same belt in terms of flat stats. Of course, if I want to go for Lucid belt, which means that I need to change my Holy Grail to a book, will the total cost be worth the price? Because for just a simple stat like this Holy Grail, I probably spend about less than 100M, where a book I have to buy probably about 18M worth of meso. Yeah, is it really worth the price or not? That's the question. Alright, let's continue from here. After my Penombre mark, it is my Papu mark. And the reason why I went for Papu mark is I know the fact that it's gonna be tradable soon, hopefully. From Blackpink mark to Papu mark, the main difference is the 2 extra star. Yeah, that's about it. And I choose to go for Papu mark because it's worth it. Yeah, it's the 22 star that I want. Yep. Okay, as long as it's tradable, I will make the pots nice. That's, you can see for my gears, the pots are nice for most of my tradable gears. And next would be my ACS. As you can see, my ACS gears legend. One is legend epic. I stop at 2 lines because 20 war. If you change to unique, even 2 lines, 20 war is about 1 war is about 3 luck. So yeah, the difference will not be as big because additional pot lines, the stats they give is really horrible. Yeah, so 2 lines epic, especially when both is 20 war, 10 war each, is good enough. Yeah. And my glove, EQ bit for your 2 lines crit damage. And I'm fortunate to get 3 line additional pot, maybe to consider it as a 2.5 lines as a unit. It's good enough. I'm not gonna tear it already. It's good enough. Yep. And my cape, the main pot kinda sucked, but it's good enough. I was trying to get 2 lines unique at least, but it teared it eventually. Off-season TNT. Yeah, not so much difference. Probably gain more from the patch update whereby additional pots get more stats. So all is good. Okay, the next item I'm gonna talk is ear stat. Okay, so why ear stat instead of Ocean Glow and Estella? Of course, CFE if you want to go for that boss set, but that's out of question. So why ear stat instead of Ocean Glow and whatever? So firstly, set bonus. If you go for Meister Shoulder, it's definitely much cheaper and you benefit from extra 10% boss damage. So ear stat is already very available. 22 star is already very readily available in the market. So to get a 22 star would be very not say too expensive. Yeah. Ocean Glow on the other hand, because it doesn't give you any set bonus, even though there's 1 extra slot I think. Overall WA might be a bit more, but is it worth the loss in stat effect? I don't know. Then how about Estella? Because in the market now, Estella is almost is the cheapest earring available in Dawn Boss set. But is it really worth the price? Because Meister that is already very available in the market. So to go for Estella earring, which is okay, overall you will gain, but because there's already a available 22 star at level 140, and many people has it. So is it worth for you to go for Estella? I do not know. But because your ring slots, you have 4 of them. One will be for Sid, and the other 3 slots is for your other rings. And event ring sucks, so don't go for it. If you want to go to higher end bossing, eventually you will not use your event ring. Your event ring will be drop gears. Yep. So King Ring, Divine King Ring is definitely one of the option because it's not as expensive as compared to other gears. To 22 star probably costs about 40p now in the market. So choosing Divine King Ring is okay. It's not as bad. And you can get a cheaper option, which is a Meister stat. Okay, probably a Estella would cost more than a Meister stat, considering that it's the same pot lines. Yeah. So even if you chose Penombre and Estella, yeah, unless you're not going for Meister set, right? Estella earring can be considered, but Meister stat is the market is readily available, so go for that instead. Would be better. Otherwise, you have to self-cube yourself because Estella is, after all, one of the later items that was released. So, yeah, I choose your stat instead. Go for Meister set. Okay, so let's talk about my Meister shoulder now. The reason why I go for this item is because of, yeah, even though ACS is a level 200 item and it gives a lot more flat stats from ACS set bonus, I missed out 40 Wa, but that is counted by the 3 set effect of 40 Wa, so it cancels out each other, and I gain 10% more boss damage. So overall, I lose from the flat stats from this Meister shoulder, which was about 50 Wa and 40, about 40 Wa and 50 stats. That's the amount of stats I lose just by changing it to Meister shoulder. But even if I lose that amount of stats, I gain 10 more % boss damage, which to me is valuable. I rather go for the boss damage than the flat stats. Yeah, and I save 2/3 of the cost from my ACS shoulder, so I went for that. Okay, so next, the best in slot for batch would be Antique, or if you have that crazy legacy batch which I didn't play. My Cadena is only less than 2 years old. Yeah, so yeah, so the best would be these antiques that you can get. Yeah, because even if I wear the badge from Magnus, it doesn't give me 5 set bonus. So yeah, I use this badge instead. Okay, as I mentioned, the medal, this would be the available one since I'm an MVP rate. I get 5% boss damage, why not? Yeah, uh, even Monster Park gives me, even if that Monster Park gives me, where's my Monster Park badge? Not this. 7 once a day Parker badge. Yeah, anyways, it gives me 10 ID and some stats. Yeah, overall it's not worth it because my ID is super high already. My ID is already 96.2. My guild skill and all the other pots I eat is very high, 97 already. I might consider next time if I'm not in MVP rate. Yeah, that's about it. Okay, before I talk about my last item, which is my most expensive item, talk about the title that I'm using, pink. Yeah, I purposely opened this during my dojo so that I can hit for 70. Let's compare it with this Yati Penguin. So this one gives me 20 stats and this one gives me 15 stats. But over here I got 15 attack and this gives me 10 attack. On top of it I get extra 10 ID, blah blah blah. Yep. Yeah, so even it's just only a small stat increase. Not very worth, but whatever lah. Since I got it, I will just use it lor. Yep. Alright, and here's the last item that I use, the best in slot heart. Okay, which you can use together with Broid. If you use Beauty Roid heart, you cannot use Broid, I think. Yeah, and yeah. Otherwise, you need to use other hearts, which is not worth it. The if you cannot use Beauty Roid, if you don't have Beauty Roid heart, because even during after creating this Cadena, I don't have any Beauty Roid event that I can use it. Which I don't have the heart to do so. Right, the next best slot would be Fairy's Heart in Miso shop for events. That's 4B. The star is really a huge difference. 17 star, 18 star, 19 star, 20 star. So how many hearts did I boom? I boom one heart. I boom my first heart from 19 to 20 stars. I do not know why I want to play with it, but when I retrace my second heart, it's a clean pass from 17, 18, 19, 20. What I did was I threw in a 17 star scroll and then I just click thrice, it gives me this 20 star, and I still continue playing. It failed the first time and then it passed after that on 21 star, and then I don't have enough yeah, I don't have the courage to start my next one. Yeah, it's an eyesore, but yeah. Even so, even if I have 17 star, 17 star would gives me about 50 wa lesser from this heart probably, because after all, once I hit 21 star, I know that I want to retrace it and throw in black scrolls, which I did, and it hit 185. At best, it will give me 201 wa plus 16 wa. So when I plus 16 wa, it will be 201 wa. Yeah, which is quite good for black scrolls. Uh, yes. So this is my gear. This is probably the most expensive item. Yeah, this is the most expensive item which I made. Even if I keep it at 17 star, which I believe is much worth it than other hearts that you can get. Yeah, this is the best in slot heart that you should spend on. If you really want to spend on which item, the heart would be a valuable one that you should, because yeah, because the amount of what it gives. Uh, yeah, and that's about it. Other things that gives you damage would be black label items. Okay, go for the one that has a longer expiration date. That gives you WA. That's what I went for. Okay, even though hat and key gives you flat stats for black label, uh, that's at most about 20 stats, which is probably gonna cost the same as this weapon. But weapon gives you more, weapon attack gives you more damage than flat stats, and some items just look ugly lah. So yeah, so don't look at the hat and the kit. Alright. The next thing to look out for would be your pet equipments. Okay, so of course, if you the next upgrade if I want to do would be changing my pets to Lunar Dream, where I get 2 Lunar Dream effect, and of course if I can get cheap pet equipments along with it, I will scroll it with premium wa scroll, which possibly this one will give me extra 15 wa, another 15 wa, so that's 30 wa, and 2 set Lunar Dream effects, which is probably another 10 wa or 15 wa. So total of 45 were given, but the problem is that it is untradable for good. It's stuck in the account. Yeah. If I have to gear up anything, I don't think I can gear up anything already. I think everything I min max without Dark Boss gear. Yeah. Um, yeah, I cannot squeeze anything else already. Probably this one plus 1 star, and I mix this scrolls with it. Hammer everything that can be scrolled with Wa. Then the next big item probably is either Eternal Set, or I scroll my ACS armor with Destined Knight armor scrolls, but that would be very very costly. Yeah. So yeah, I guess that's about my explanation on my choice of items, and I hope that you will really consider on going to Dark Boss set, which is currently 5 times or more of the price of your previous tier items. For example, Penombre is level 140, LCN is level 160, so that's the next upgrade. If I'm going from Penombre, it will be LCM, but I'm not going to do that because you pay about 6 times the price, but you don't get 6 times the damage, or even double the damage. Is You're not gonna get it. Of course, Dark Boss set items will give you more stats. Yeah, but that is really for min maxers. If you're not going for ACS armor, don't even think about going for Dark Boss set. Just I'm not sure. I'm not saying that you should follow my explanation and it's a justification, but it's really is it really worth the value of your money if you want to go for Dark Boss set? And I've proven to you that I can hit floor 70 without Dark Boss set. Yeah. Alright, so anyways, if you have any questions or if you have any inputs that you would like, do leave a comment. Yeah, and that's it for today. I'll see you then. Take care. Good night. Bye.